Your defense line, I don't have to tell you.
Huh?
Your defensive line.
Yeah.
Come in. Yeah, they're with us.
How are you?
Karen.
Nice to see you.
From Grand Tea Imports.
Okay,
And
great.
Grace Meng. Grace, nice to meet you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Assemblymember Grace Lee, representing Lower Manhattan, including Chinatown. We are here today because Trump's tariffs are dangerous, disorganized, and devastating for everyday working Americans, especially in communities like Chinatown. Asian American small businesses are being hit hard. Here in Chinatown, shops that have served families for generations are struggling. Tariffs are driving up the cost of everyday goods like noodles, kitchenware, incense, and traditional medicine, and making it harder for these businesses to survive and for working families to afford what they need. It's a direct attack on economic opportunity and cultural preservation in our communities. In addition, Trump keeps changing the rules, carving out exemptions for tech giants like Apple, while leaving everyday Americans and immigrant-run businesses to bear the brunt. Under Trump's tariffs, if you're a billionaire CEO, you get relief. If you're a small, family-run business, you get left behind. And we have to be clear. When hostility towards China drives policy, it too often spills over to hostility towards the Asian American community. We have seen how that kind of rhetoric fuels racism and discrimination in our communities, and we pay the price. Let me be clear. Trump is leaving Asian Americans behind. These tariffs are not just bad economics, they are bad for Asian Americans. I want to thank my colleagues for being here today, Congressmember Grace Meng, Congressmember Dan Goldman, and Councilmember Susan Zhuang, and our local business establishments in Chinatown to be here to talk about this issue. And I first want to introduce Congresswoman Grace Meng, who is also the chair of the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus in D.C.
Thank you so much to Chairwoman and Assemblywoman Grace Lee. I'm Congresswoman Grace Meng from Queens, and I want to thank you all for being here to cover this important issue. Late last year, I was proudly elected as the new chair of the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus, or KPAC as we call it, and I'm excited to partner this morning with my friend Assemblymember Grace Lee, who is the chair of the New York State Asian Pacific American Task Force. And I also want to thank one of our most active and important board members in our caucus, Congressman Dan Goldman, who is a good friend and leader on so many issues. Working together, I look forward to addressing the important issues facing our communities all across the state of New York. If you walk down any commercial strip in New York City, from here in Chinatown to downtown Flushing to Brooklyn, the one thing you'll be surrounded by is small businesses. And that's because small businesses are the backbone of our region's economy. And as the daughter of small business owners, I know firsthand the critical role they play in our communities. And that, of course, includes the many businesses in our Asian American neighborhoods, which are vibrant and bustling destinations with fantastic restaurants, outstanding shops, and exceptional markets. But ensuring their success is crucial to the success of the state of New York, which is why we need to do all we can to help them grow and to flourish. But President Trump's trade war will not do that. In fact, his tariffs will have the opposite effect, delivering devastating blows to our small businesses here in New York City and across the Asian communities in the country. From local entrepreneurs to those running mom and pop establishments, families will be hurt. Although the 90-day tariff pause has been implemented, there is still a 10% import tax for most U.S. trading partners. and a whopping 145% tariff on goods from China. As the president's trade war escalates, small business owners will be forced to pass the higher cost of imported goods onto their customers or suffer financial hits to their livelihoods. And the spike in prices would impact everything from electronics, clothing, toys, and food. There have already been reports of goods such as ginseng going from $88 a pound to $100 per pound in just a few short days. But it's more than just increased costs. Everyday Asian Americans will feel the pain if small businesses cannot afford to provide jobs or bring investments to our communities. Working people, families struggling to make ends meet, and seniors living on fixed incomes will undoubtedly be harmed. We have already seen our financial markets and people's retirement savings plummet with all the economic uncertainty. The president is playing Russian roulette with our economy, and it's a game that New Yorkers do not want to play. During the COVID-19 crisis, Asian American-owned businesses were devastated, suffering severe economic losses from the pandemic. Anti-Asian sentiment surged in New York and across the country. And as a result, many who usually flock to our restaurants and markets suddenly stopped coming shortly after the first cases of the outbreak were reported in the US. So many of our local Asian businesses have not fully recovered from that time. And now, these reckless tariffs threaten to shutter so many businesses that are already operating on razor-thin margins. Those of us gathered here today are united in standing against these irresponsible and reckless tariffs. And as the trade war deepens, we'll continue to push for them to be rescinded and shine a light on the damage they're causing here in New York and across the nation. Thank you, Chairwoman Lee, for all your tireless work in fighting for the Asian American community. I look forward to our caucus and task force continuing our partnership together and pushing the message across the country that President Trump and House Republicans need to reverse course as soon as possible and protect our small businesses and our community. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Congressman Dan Goldman. I have the pleasure of representing this area of historic Chinatown, as well as the growing Asian American Pacific Islander community in Sunset Park in Brooklyn. And I'm happy that Councilwoman Susan Zhuang from that area is joining us, as well as Wellington Chen, the Business Improvement District head here in Chinatown. Of course, the two Graces, my great colleagues, Grace Lee in the Assembly, and Grace Meng, the chair of AAPI in Washington, D.C. in Congress, that I'm proud to be a board member of. Let's get down to what really is happening here. Donald Trump is trying to use our economy for his own power and his own benefit, as well as that of the billionaires. And the people who are suffering are the people who live in this area, who run small businesses, who work hard, who are union workers, who have pensions, who've earned a good life, but not a wealthy life. And the reason why he is doing this has nothing to do with the economy. There's no question the stock market going down, back up a little bit, back down, is devastating to so many Americans, especially those who have retirement accounts and cannot afford to lose that money. But there's so much more here, because the impact on businesses is going to lead us to a recession. And part of it is the tariffs, but even more of it is that there's absolutely no strategy. There is no rhyme or reason for anything that he's doing, and that is leading businesses all over the country to just stop spending, to retrench, to lay off employees, to stop investing, to stop our capital markets, which are effectively closed right now. that is going to lead us into a recession. But the reason why the tariffs matter so much for this community is that it's going to put businesses out of business. It's going to put small businesses, family businesses into the street. These businesses do not have surplus funds that they can afford to buy in several months in advance for their supplies. And especially here in Chinatown, where so many of the goods are procured from China, 145% tariff is devastating. It is not survivable for the majority of small businesses here in Chinatown and throughout the Asian community around the country. And that is why we are here today, to emphasize that Donald Trump may have retracted some of his tariffs, but he is escalating a trade war with China that is going to make the losers, the family businesses and small businesses in this community, in this neighborhood, and around the country. There's a way to stop this. And it is not just us gathering here speaking out, but it is the Republicans in Congress who are responsible just as much as Donald Trump is for these tariffs. Last week, the Speaker, Mike Johnson, took away Congress's authority to vote on these tariffs. He wouldn't even allow it to come to a vote. Under the emergency powers that Donald Trump has invoked in order to place these tariffs on our allies and countries that we barely do any business with, he had to invoke emergency powers. Within that bill, Congress has the statutory, the legislative authority to overrule the emergency powers that Donald Trump invoked. But the Republicans in Congress took that away. They snuck it into a bill, and they won't even let us vote on whether we approve these tariffs. So yes, this is Donald Trump's chaos, dysfunction, irrationality, complete lack of strategy, for sure. But the Republicans in the House who work with Congresswoman Meng and me are just as complicit. And every single person who owns a small business in New York, who cares about small businesses in New York, needs to make their voices heard to all of the Republicans from New York in the House of Representatives, because they can stop this, and it must be stopped. Thank you.
Thank you again to our Congress members for all that they're doing in DC to fight Trump's tariffs and the Republicans. We now have some remarks from some local businesses in Chinatown about the devastating impact these tariffs are going to have on their businesses. I'd like to introduce Karen Liu of the Grand Tea and Import Store. Like many of our Asian businesses here in Chinatown and across the city, Grand Tea and Imports is a community staple that has been open for almost 20 years in Chinatown, founded by her father, Mr. Liu. Now their imports of teas and other celebratory goods are under threat from Trump's trade war. So I'd like to welcome Karen Liu of Grand Tea and Imports to say a few words.
Thank you everyone for making it out here. My name is Karen and I'm the second generation owner of Grand Tea and Imports, a small multi-generational cultural goods shop in Chinatown. My parents started this business nearly 20 years ago. Since day one, they've worked non-stop 7 days a week, no vacations, and put every dollar back into the shop. To them, this wasn't just a business. It was a way to serve the Chinatown community, a place where people can find the teas they love, incense for their altars, and red envelopes and decorations that bring our celebrations to life. As our name suggests, we're an imports business. Every year, we work directly with small tea farmers, craftspeople, and entrepreneurs from across China to bring authentic heritage goods back to New York. We're a lean team with just my sister, my parents, and me. So we handle all the logistics ourselves. We have no lawyers, no customs specialists, no imports department. So when the tariffs suddenly jumped to 145%, we were immediately overwhelmed. We've always run on thin margins because we serve a working class neighborhood. We don't want to raise prices and make it harder for people to celebrate their culture. We've already weathered a lot. Months of closure during COVID and a fire that wiped out years of inventory, but we kept going. This, though, feels different. These tariffs threaten our ability to restock, and for many of our neighboring business owners, their ability to stay open. Most businesses in Chinatown rely on imports, and we're all figuring it out alone. Add a language barrier, a tech gap, an ever-changing policy, all of this feels confusing, exhausting, and unfair to our community. As we move through this uncertain time, I hope policymakers remember Chinatown. We need real support, clear guidance, in-language resources, and a public space to share information in navigating this new world. Altogether, we also urge policymakers to reconsider these unfair tariffs. Almost every business in Chinatown is an import business in some way, and we shouldn't have to face this alone. Thank you.
Very well said.
Thank you, Karen. We also are honored to have Council Member Susan Zhuang from South Brooklyn, who represents another robust Asian American community who will be impacted by these tariffs.
Thank you, Assemblymember Grace Lee, to have this great press conference. I'm Councilmember Susan Zhuang, represents the Chinatown in Brooklyn. My district has 60% Chinese there, and we all know that Trump gives such big tariff to China. It's not only to China, it's to everyone here. I was talking to my friend. She is a new mom, has a kid just born, and then she has another friend. We have a baby shower for her. Some of our friends gathering saying, "Oh, how much we need to spend this year in Christmas?" This tariff is not only affect the business; it's affect every single person living in the community. No matter you are Chinese or not Chinese, we all remember. I'm a parent. I have 2 kids. For them, the most exciting holiday is Christmas. They care about how many gifts.
It's not, Mom.
Which holiday is your favorite?
Chinese New Year represents our culture.
All right.
That's right. But Thanksgiving, we also buy the stuff as a previous person just said. We buy Chinese red envelopes.
Yes.
Now the red envelopes also cost more money.
Yeah.
So when we talk about this national issue, it seems national issue, but to me, it's local issue.
Yeah.
Our paycheck not going to be raised, but the stuff we have to pay will be increased significantly. And we don't have enough money to buy toys for our kids. We don't have enough money to buy food for our table. And people say, "Oh, we buy orange from Florida. We don't buy orange from foreign countries." But the people doesn't understand. When the water hole, when they water the plant, when they need to transport the orange from Florida to New York, they need a car. Some material from the car also from China. So to be naive, to avoid every single stuff from China. And all the camera here, probably there are some parts from China also. Even in Trump's own store, almost everything made from China. So can he explain to us why he is doing that to our regular people? We are not millionaires. We don't have a big paycheck as him. He doesn't need to pay any tax. He pays $750 a year. But how much we need to pay? I just paid another additional $10,000 to Uncle Sam. So we are regular people. We are not rich, but all the tax we want to increase is a tax to every single one of us here. So we have to fight against him to make sure we have the quality of life still in our community. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Well
you,
said.
Councilmember Zhang. We have one more business who's going to be joining us today, and that is Kei Chen from New Goldman store, and he'll be speaking in Chinese with translation. Thank you.
Hey, I use my language in here,
Okay.
Cantonese.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
嗰啲廣東話，我哋係喺唐人街，我哋本身就係 small business。
We are just small businessmen in Chinatown.
我哋係平民大眾。呢啲咧後邊企喺度啊，係我哋嘅代表，同埋嗰啲社區嗰啲領袖。
We are just regular people living in the community. Now the people around us are elected officials that represent us.
美國嚟講咧，我哋知道美國咧就絕大部分嘅嘢都係大國嚟嘅，無論喺軍事、工業交通嗰啲科技、醫學都係大國。但係我哋而家想講嘅就係我哋平民大眾對呢個問題嘅有啲嘅睇法。
In America, everything is big. Military is big, technology is big, everything's about the big picture. But for us, regular people, we want to talk about something local, something small.
首先咧，我哋喺美國嚟講咧，我哋自己先學今次嘅稅咧，就而家都未，即係大家喺度arguing唔同嘅立場，有唔同嘅睇法。
Even about the tariff, everybody is arguing. We don't know what's happening, and everybody's just arguing.
最主要咧就係影響最大咧，就係我哋而家都唔明白，因為唔係好了解真正我哋自己嘅稅率幾多，所以咧最大嘅影響係進口嘅商品。
And more importantly, most of us don't even understand how the tariff is going to affect us, what this percentage means on prices for us.
但係咧，美國有一樣嘢咧，我要提醒下大家。你睇下，大家企喺呢度入到嚟唐人街，我哋而家大家都係好高興，因為咧美國本身嘅產品好多嘅。無論農業、畜牧業、嗰啲水果業嗰啲嘢咧，就足可以供應俾我哋大家老百姓嘅。我哋唔使好似好多嘅國家嘅人一樣。會餓死會着埋啲冷衫嗰啲嘢咧，好簡單嘅嘢。我哋嘅米。
Even today, when in Chinatown, we are still happy because we know that even in America, we still produce a lot of our own products, from agriculture, logging, to fruits, things like that. We don't have to worry about being starved because the tariff is very high.
好似米，我哋中國人食嘅米，我哋美國雖然係嗰啲國寶嗰啲long green or long short green 嗰啲米咧，我哋係 enough 過我哋嘅。我哋嗰啲果菜係南部同埋加州嗰邊種落嚟，好多隻新鮮嘅水果佢話果菜魚肉。果菜魚肉呢4個方面咧，係我哋大型嘅超級市場中咧絕大部分嘅營業額嚟嘅，對我哋嚟講最大部分嘅營業額。
And America still produce a lot of major products that we consume in our community: fruit, vegetable, fish, and meat. Right.
Yeah. There's more important the business in our picture, the supermarket inside. So right here, Chinatown people, they still keep the price not too high. So everybody don't feel like the outside some country and some area they feel hungry. They feel maybe nothing to eat. So and around here, as I know, around here most of the supermarket grocery they still and even the restaurant they even keep the price is lower. It's to save the money and save my country.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I tell you some question. I hope the area around here, we have a lot of very famous the food like the萬字豉油 Japanese
Soy sauce.
Soy sauce 萬字豉油 from Japan the around here the make in here 你咁幾 make in here from Hong Kong in the a lot the soybean and something to around the make in here so we hope our leaders can can control, then tell the government to control the market.
President Trump, yes, that's
Don't
what we're hearing.
let them do the going up the price because they don't have the rice going up. This going up the price is not good for us, for all the people.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Now someone who is very concerned about the well-being of Chinatown businesses in the face of these tariffs, Executive Director of the Chinatown Business Improvement District, Wellington Chen.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Wellington Chen. I'm in charge of the Chinatown Business Improvement District, which represents several thousand small mom and pop, like what you just said, Darren, and all. I have to thank everyone for being here, and Su Zhangchuan is absolutely right that this should matter not only to you, to us, but everyone, because of the tariff is so sweet and broad, currently affecting 185 countries, and as you can just see simply from standing here, that we have a tea shop across the street, a tea parlor that dates back 100 years. And we are forgetting our own lesson as we are about to celebrate 400 years in New York, which is what Henry Hudson was looking for. It was the trade to Northwest Passage from China for tea and spices to India. And it is also same thing for Giovanni Ferragamo. The whole basis of why we are here today is because of our interdependence of this global logistics chain that's been dating back at least 400 years or more. And I can only tell you that, as you can see from the Weekend magazine, right? So this is one sample of it. The title says, Tariff, it matters to you because of the impact. As you can just mention, I'm not going to go to Russia and Siberia to get the tea. I'm not going to go to Belarus to get the Thailand coconut oil. I'm not going to go to North Korea to get the rice. They are starving themselves. So this thing matters to us. We are so interdependent on us. And the last thing, and I'm pleading mercy, after this community has gone through so much, the anti-Asian hate, the COVID, 8 years of Great Recession, the attacks on us, the World Trade Center, 8 years of Great Depression, and standing on the bloody ankles, the last thing we need is another bloodbath. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Wellington.
We can take questions from here for anyone who has any questions.
Just wondering if Ms. Liu could speak to any specifics about products, whether it's simply the tea that you sell or there are specific things you could add the granularity of products that are being affected directly from you or from your competitors, if you know the change yet or not.
As I mentioned earlier, we are a small business with lean resources, so we don't have quite the abilities to fully interpret the impacts and measure out how we can adjust our business. But on a very real level, our teas, all different kinds of teas, come directly from China. As Congresswoman Grace Meng pointed out, herbs, traditional Chinese medicine, herbs, ingredients, there are a lot of our joss paper goods, incense, New Year decorations, all of that is imported every year, and we restock every year, and it's specific to every year as well. So next year is the year of the horse, for example. We're trying to understand, how can we bring in these essential goods that allow
What's the gentleman's name who just spoke?
specific to the zodiac, while keeping prices accessible for the community. So, and then for the rest of the Chinatown community, as New Cummins owner has talked about, a lot of our Chinese restaurant ingredients come direct from China. Even dried mushrooms, bamboo shoots, soy sauce, rice, a very specific type of rice. We're particular about our rice there. That comes from China. So yeah, it affects all dimensions of our life.
Could I add? I just want to add one thing, so people understand. These small businesses cannot raise their prices significantly because the community cannot afford it. So the tariffs are a tax on, first, the small businesses. Some large businesses pass through that tax to the consumers. These small businesses cannot do that. And because they operate on such razor-thin margins, they are going to bear the brunt of that tax, and that's why they will go out of business. So the impact is so much greater here than it is on larger companies. Thank you.
And you all are available just for some one-on-ones.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming.